Hey guys, welcome to Anyco's Productions and welcome to my latest video here. Now, as you guys know, in my last video or my second to last video, I went ahead and unboxed the Lenovo Ideapad Z510. Now, I've been using it for the past maybe 2 to 3 weeks now, and as my personal laptop. And I think it's time that I'll be able to go ahead and safely make a judgmental review. I have gone ahead and used it almost every day, so I have a good idea of how the Z510 fares and what to expect from it. So I think it's time I can go ahead and give a judgment. Now, as you can see, I have the Z510 in front of me. You can see that by the model number there. And what I'll be doing in this video is I'll be covering one aspect of the laptop, and I'll be making several such videos covering different aspects of the laptop. And this first video is just going over the general build quality of the laptop and it's how well it's built, the material choice and things like that. And then maybe in the next one I'll go ahead and cover a different aspect of the laptop, such as the input devices such as the keyboard or the mouse. And then in the next video I might go ahead and cover the display, the speakers and stuff like that. So here I have the Lenovo Ideapad Z510 in front of me. And for all those of you who are wondering why this has suddenly changed appearance, it's because I've gone ahead and applied the carbon fiber skin on it. It didn't originally come with this carbon fiber skin. I had to go ahead and purchase it from Amazon for around a couple of dollars, and I slapped it on. And I'll get into why I did that in a few minutes. But going ahead and talking about the design and the build, firstly, I want to say is that it is a pretty large notebook. It's a 15.6-inch notebook, so it's not those netbook types or the 14-inch laptops. So as you can see, I'll go ahead and turn it all the way around. So let me just go ahead and place it so you have a good idea of the size. And there, I'll bring it into frame. It's a pretty large notebook. And to be honest, let me go ahead and show you what makes it larger. The thing that makes it larger are the side bezels that it has around the display. So let me go ahead and pan the camera up. And as you can see, these bezels make it even larger. And to be honest, the footprint is large. It will require quite a big laptop bag. And that is one thing that annoyed me a bit. It could have been much smaller if they'd cut out on the bezels and stuff. But we have what we have. But moving on from the build, moving on from the size, the weight is slightly contrary to the how big it is. Although you might think that a bigger laptop will weigh more, but it doesn't. To be honest, it's pretty slim. So I'll go ahead and grab a quick book and show you how thick it is in comparison to a book. So here I have gone ahead and grabbed a book, so here you'll have a good idea of how thick it is in comparison to a regular book. Now here's around a 250-page book, The Fall of the King, and in comparison you can see it's slightly thicker than this book, which to be honest for a 15.6-inch notebook is pretty slim. And moving on, so like I said, it's pretty slim and it doesn't weigh as much either. So that's good. So if you have to carry this notebook around, you won't really see any problems with carrying it around, because although it is pretty big, it tends to weigh pretty less as compared to other 15.6-inch notebooks. Moving on, I want to go ahead and quickly talk about the choice of material that Lenovo has gone with in this Ideapad Z510. And I would say it's a mishmash of materials, and the basic materials are a hard plastic, which tends to be kind of a polycarbonate plastic as they call it, and some brushed aluminum. The palm rest is entirely covered with brushed aluminum, and it feels pretty sturdy. There's no flexing whatsoever, even under serious amount of pressure. So I felt I was pretty comfortable with the palm rest. The trackpad itself is also seems to be sort of a metal build. However, moving on to the bezels here, as you can see, although this looks very similar to how the palm rest looks, it is made entirely out of matte plastic. And this is a good sort of plastic, better than the other notebooks that I've seen, which tend to come with glossy bezels which tend to scratch up very easily. This is relatively better than that. However, they could have still used aluminum throughout the body to make it even sturdier. The hinges itself are also made out of plastic, and to be honest, from how they look, I don't think they're as sturdy as some other notebooks such as the HP Pavilion line. But to be honest, when I go ahead and try opening up the laptop with one hand, they tend to hold up pretty well. They offer a good amount of resistance, and they even prevent the laptop from wobbling. Um, Now, like I said, I went ahead and slapped on this carbon fiber skin for a reason, and the reason is because of the materials that they've used in this. Now, the top is made entirely out of polycarbonate, a good polycarbonate plastic. It's not those cheap plastics or glossy plastics some other brands use, especially I think it's Dell. It tends to be this good looking material, as you can see on the bottom. The bad thing about this material is that it tends to catch fingerprints very easily. So if I shine light on it, as you can see the amount of fingerprints on it. And for that reason, I thought it was wise to go ahead and slap on this, since it would prevent all those fingerprints from showing too easily. And basically, if you don't want to go with this approach, you are obviously free to go ahead and leave it as it is, but you'll end up having to clean it often, and over time it might also get up scratched up, and basically it might look ugly over time. So I just wanted to say that. So as far as build goes, it is pretty sturdy. I haven't really noticed any creaking whatsoever, except that there is slight amount of flex when you push the lid down, because it's made out of plastic, not metal. There is a slight amount of flex, which obviously with such a large notebook, I would expect it. And since they've used plastic here, so it's there. It's nothing to it's not a deal breaker as such, but just want to let you guys know there is slight amount of flex in the lid. So if you tend to carry your laptop around and worry about your screen getting damaged, you'd probably have to consider this. Another area where I've noticed some flex is just near above the optical drive here, above the keyboard. But this flexing comes only when you put really high amounts of stress on it, which in everyday usage is not it's not something that you do on everyday usage. So if I really press down hard, I'm not sure how well you can see, it does tend to flex a bit, but in regular typing I doubt this will be an issue, as that amount of pressure will not usually be applied in everyday typing. So like I said, overall it tends to be a good build, I would say. They've used plastic and metal, so in some areas the build is exceptional, while in some areas it's moderate, I would say. They could have done it better, but to be honest, I'm pretty happy with it. And as far as build quality goes, I would say I would give it a good 8 or 8.5 out of 10. Simply due to the fact that they could have avoided the plastic and gone with the entirely metal build, and the fact that they could have avoided using the really fingerprint prone and material which tends to get dirty pretty easily. Now I want to end this video by saying that another thing about this laptop is that it tends to be of that fixed base plate type. So you do not have access to your panels. Your bottom panel is not it's not openable, so you can't go ahead and remove the screws and get into your inner components such as your hard drive, your RAM slots, and your CPU, your GPU. It's fixed, and removing these screws that you have on the bottom will not allow you to get in. You'll have to basically first go ahead and remove the keyboard, and then unscrew some screws there as well. Then go ahead and use some special tools to get these open, and then get into your components. So if you're a person who's looking to who tends to open up their laptops and manually upgrade parts inside, such as your RAM or hard drive, you probably will not be able to do it unless you have some really technical knowledge about how to open laptops and perform upgrades. And I would recommend, if you don't have such knowledge, to go ahead and approach a service center. Yeah, this was basically what I wanted to cover in my first Z510 video, the build, and like I said, I give it a good 8.5 out of 10. And it's decently built. I'm not overly happy or overly disappointed with it. It's somewhere within the moderate to high end build quality area. It's pretty sleek, it doesn't weigh much, and it has large fingerprint, and the choice of material could be better. So that with that, I want to go ahead and conclude this video, and I hope you guys liked it. And for more such videos, and for the next video in this series, go ahead and stay tuned to my channel. For as of now, this is ending code. Peace out.